I'm Craig Wilson at techcentral.co.za, and today I'm looking at Nokia's E6. A couple of the E-series devices that have been particularly well reviewed, notably the E71, which was followed by the E72 that wasn't reviewed quite so well, or received quite so well. And then there's the recent E5, which certainly didn't get the kind of press Nokia had hoped. So they've been hoping to turn it around with the E6. As you can see, for anyone familiar with the heritage of this device, it's very much in keeping with the styling and look of its predecessors. And it feels incredibly sturdy. It's really well made, and the metal trim around the face is particularly nice. Also gone is the optical trackpad type D-pad found on the E5 and the E72, and it has been replaced here instead with one that actually requires a press. But we found that that actually leads to better navigation, particularly as this device now has a touchscreen. And what a touchscreen it is! If you wake it up using the slider on the side, which incidentally also doubles as the on or off button for the flash, which can then be used as a torch, the screen itself is quite remarkable considering how small it is. It boasts the same sort of pixel density as found on Apple's iPhone 4, or so-called Retina display, but the resolution is unfortunately only regular VGA at 640 by 480. And isn't as high, it's not that the resolution's the problem, it's the size. As you can see, if you're trying to navigate around, it supports a number of home screens, which is the sort of thing that smartphone users have come to expect. But the actual buttons are still terribly small, particularly if you have slightly larger fingers, as I do. On the whole, the interface is certainly an improvement from the last version of Symbian we saw, but it's still not quite as slick as we'd like to see, and I found it tricky to find certain things I was looking for, and I had to dig around in menus, which is not the kind of interface that we've come to expect, and I suspect we will not be sad to see the end of Symbian devices later this year when Nokia makes the move to its Windows Phone 7 devices. Otherwise, it's a fairly well-spec'd device. It comes with the regular 3.5mm jack you'd expect. It also supports SD cards up to a maximum of 32 gigs, and pleasingly comes with 8 gigs of onboard memory, which is perhaps why Nokia haven't seen fit to supply a micro SD card with it. They have, however, been thoughtful enough to include not only a car dock that attaches to the windscreen, but a car charger that goes with it, which is a really nice touch in a world where most manufacturers would rather charge you for extras than bundle them with the device. It also boasts an 8-megapixel camera, which you can see in the slightly raised portion of the back cover, and it includes a dual LED flash, which is another pleasant addition. And as I said, that can also double as a torch by means of the lock button found here on the side. The problem with the device overall is not so much its functionality or its hardware. It's certainly incredibly capable, and it's certainly pleasing enough to use. The problem is that if it's looked at in isolation, it's alright, but considering iOS and Android devices, it seems instantly outdated despite the fact that it's a relative newcomer to the market. Still, for those who are fond of this particular model of phone, or what's also known as Nokia's sort of BlackBerry knockoff, they'll be pleased with the power that it packs. The one area that it is, however, lacking is processor. This particular model has the same 680 MHz processor as the E5, which means essentially it's being asked to do more with no more processing power. And the result is that when you're running a lot of applications simultaneously or flicking through things too quickly, you end up with a loading circle, and it's incredibly frustrating waiting for things to open. If you're not using that much, then it certainly behaves alright, but the problem is one really shouldn't have lag on a high-end smartphone device, particularly in this sort of price bracket. The E6 is available now, and out of contract it will cost you approximately 4,500 Rand, depending on the retailer.